When ready? All right,
It's
whenever
better
you're
than
ready.
Western Carolina again.
Yes, true.
All right, whenever you're ready, Coach.
Well, we're very fortunate to win tonight. This game was a little bit different than what has been going on with our ball club when it comes to extra innings come from behind wins. We actually played very, very well, I thought, until going into the seventh inning. And then we struggled a little bit to find the strike zone. Give Furman a lot of credit for getting back into the ball game. I thought we did some things in the eighth and the ninth inning offensively that fundamentally we've got to be much better at. We had some miscues, didn't get a bunt down. We had an opportunity to get a leadoff walk and chase the pitch out of the strike zone 3-1. Had a hit and run that we missed. That could have potentially been a double play ball. We did some things that frustrated me a little bit tonight simply because fundamentally we weren't as good as we needed to be. And that's on me. And from the seventh inning on, when we talk about winning the last 9 outs of a ball game, and that's where you have to be fundamentally sound. That's where you have to be able to do all the little things. You have to be able to pound the strike zone, number one. You have to play good defense. You got to be able to get a bunt down. You got to be able to hit and run. You got to run the bases the right way. And we did some things that were that we got to do a better job of. So very fortunate to get the win tonight. But a number of guys had really good ball games for us. Pitching wise, Riley was very, very good. We took Riley out obviously to have him ready for the weekend. And Alex Eubanks saved us. He was really, really good for us. I don't know if we could have won that ball game if it wasn't for Alex and what he gave us in the last 3 innings of the game. And offensively, Okie had a nice night. Even hit a ball hard there at the end that got caught. Chase Pender, did what Chase Pender does. Got on base a couple times, scored 2, drove in 2. Seth came up. He was having some tough luck and some tough at bats tonight, and got down 0-2 and found a way to get it done for us in walk-off fashion. Jordan Green had a nice day. He can't even hit a ball out in BP, and somehow he run one out of the yard. So, but it was fun to watch him get his first career home run. So, overall, I thought we played pretty good baseball through 6 innings. And if it wasn't for Eubanks there, to keep us in it when they fought their way back into the game, I don't know if we could have won it. But again. We'll always take a win, and happy we got it done tonight.
Coach, you mentioned you pulled Riley out to save him for the weekend. Also, Brooks was cruising through a couple of innings, but you pulled him out.
Yep.
How much of a tightrope is that to walk when you're trying to make decisions and maybe save some guys for the weekend, maybe experiment a little with the relievers, but you don't want to lose that lead in a midweek game either?
We don't. We definitely don't, and you're exactly right. We had to. It was just one of those things. You make the decision, and Andrew and I, Coach C and I, and Bradley and Buck and David Kopp, I'll tell you, our coaching staff, we meet every single day and we go over all these scenarios. And we had our mind made up that, this was what we were going to do. These were the guys we were going to pitch in this ball game. And we really would have drawn it up where we could get everybody an inning past Riley. We could not extend Brooks because we got to have him ready by Friday night. So, if he threw over 30 pitches, he's probably not going to be able to throw Friday night, or that's where you start getting in that danger zone a little bit of losing a guy without, you got to give him more than 1 day off. We wanted Riley, to be ready by Saturday, so we had to keep his pitch count down. I'm not sure exactly how many he threw. I think he was under 40, we were basically saying 40 was it. We weren't going to let him go over 40 pitches, and, he pitched so well, he got us through 4 innings. And, the same thing with Schmidt, even with Bostic, Eubanks. I'll have to look and see how many pitches he wound up throwing, but, we'll see if we can have him back by Friday. But again, that's the tough thing, is when you go into these games and you can't stretch a guy out as a starter. You're going to have to use your bullpen, and that's why I like playing Tuesday midweek games versus Wednesday midweek games, because you get 2 days off to get your relievers back by Friday. So Wednesdays, it makes it a little bit tougher in terms of the turnaround.
You guys don't have too many days off the rest of the season. How's that going to stress your staff there?
You just gotta try to keep them short. You know, I think when you're playing a lot of games in a row and you got the double midweeks, you may have to throw some guys on back-to-back days. But again, you just got to make your mind up before you bring a guy in that he's going to throw one inning, you know, so you can have him back the next day. And if you extend a guy, you gotta burn him. You know, you got to leave him out there, maybe give him 2 or 3 innings out of the pen, and just say we're just not, you know, we're just going to sell out with this guy and go with him for a while. And you know, tonight we were starting to get, you know, after Eubanks, we were, you know, if we'd have went back out there for another inning, we were going to have to take him out. So it, you know, it really starts to get tough at that point. But it makes it tough. You just have to, you know, kind of predetermine what you're going to do going into the game, and make sure you keep guys on short pitch counts and hope it works out.
You've won 3 or 4. I think NC State's won 5 or 6. How critical is this series this weekend?
It's huge, and I told the guys after the ball game. I mean, it's. I think every guy knows, you know, where we're at in the standings, and they know how big this weekend is, and we're trying to get into the ACC tournament, and it's that simple. And we've got 2 series left in ACC play, and we need to play our best baseball. And NC State, you look at them statistically, they're one of the best teams in the league. So, you know, we need to play our best baseball, but we do have them at home, and we play pretty good at home. So. You know, Barnes is going to have to be good for us. You know, Charlie's going to have to pitch like a Friday night guy. And that's just the bottom line. He's going to have to go out there and he's going to have to pitch and give us a quality start. And we're going to have to play good defense behind him. And we're going to have to find a way to score runs early off a really good pitching staff. And they've got a really good lineup. So, but, you know, we're going to be up to the test, and our guys are going to compete. And, you know, I think they understand the sense of urgency and how important this series is. You know, hopefully we'll be ready.
Is it good now that you've won these games? You won the comeback tonight. Great pitching from Pat on Monday. The blowout kind of last Saturday that you kind of won always.
I think it's just a matter of, you know, winning. You know, we don't have the kind of ball club that you know, wins the same way all the time. I mean, we don't have the kind of team. You look at, you know, we're not going to get, you know, many days where we're going 7 innings out of a starter. So we're going to have to pitch a number of guys out of pen, stretch guys out. So, you know, there's times where we're going to have to score a lot of runs to win a ball game. And, you know, there's times where, you know, our pitching will pick us up and hold somebody at bay. And, you know, and we win that way too. So, I mean, it's just a matter of finding ways to win games. If it's 8-7 or it's 2-1 or you got to come from behind or you got to hope like crazy you can hold the lead, which is kind of how we were tonight. You know, we had the lead, and we kept trying to hang on, and then we gave up the big inning there, I think in the 8th inning, and gave them the lead. And but the great thing about our club is we've been in this type of scenario so many times before where we've been behind in the ball game going into the last 9, 6, 3 outs of the game. Our guys, you know, they don't panic. They know that all we got to do is just get the winning run to the plate. You know, if we get to win a run to the plate, everybody in that dugout believes we're going to win the game. So because we've done it time and time again. So there's actually kind of a comfort level, you know, with our guys when that happens. You can see the dugout shift. Once that leadoff guy gets on and he represents the tying or the winning run, our guys think we're winning it right then and there.
Seth was named to the U.S. national team today. He hits the walk-off hit. He's first, leads the Power 5 players in home runs, 4th in batting average, 4th in ribbies. Have you ever coached a player that's had a season like the one he's having?
No, I mean, I've coached some guys that have had some great years. You know, the fact that he's a freshman having the year that he's having, you know, it's really special. It's a special thing for me, too, as a head coach. You know, I've never had a guy that, you know, as a freshman that made Team USA. I don't think, you know, it's been a while. I can think of one other guy, Smoke, you know, was a Team USA guy, but he didn't have the kind of year that Seth's having. It was a special moment. You know, I got a chance to tell him, you know, yesterday, me and the staff were at lunch at the SO when I got the call, and I thought to myself, you know, it's going to be really neat. You know, as a head coach, first guy for me as a head coach has played on Team USA. You know, I get a chance to go tell this kid today when we go to the cages that, you know, he's going to be on Team USA. So it's a special moment. You know, it really is really cool to be able to tell a kid he's going to represent our country and he's representing our school. And I know our fan base is so proud of him and so happy for him along with all his teammates and his coaches.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yep.